All right, fresh oil in the engine. It's set overnight, no drips. I'm going to start it now, and then I'll let it idle for a while to warm it up. And then I will put it up in the air and let it sit there for a while to see if there are any resulting drips. Let's talk about this bike and basically all the other bikes, test rides after rebuilds. First of all, this engine was rebuilt, I think. I don't know by who, whether it was the owner or another mechanic. So I think this engine's been rebuilt. I don't know if the cases are split. I don't know what was replaced. I don't know if it was just the top end. I don't know what I don't know. But I think it was rebuilt. We got it running, and we did a test ride when we got it running on, I think it was about June 26th. Look back through the history and look for the video. So it has been test ridden, but our test rides are simply local area in the neighborhood. I live at the base of a mountain. I have a nice little enclave here of a couple hundred houses, and we can drive around in the local area. Hello. In the local area on the residential streets in one stretch where we can get the bike up to about 45 miles an hour without irritating the neighbors too much. That's about as much as we can do, about 1.5 miles, 2 miles on our test rides. Keep in mind, take a look at the back end of this bike and you'll see a black license plate mount, but no license plate. I would say 9 out of 10 of these bikes come into this shop untitled, unregistered, untagged, and uninsured. Most all the bikes that come into this shop have been sitting for years and years and years, and they are in no way, shape, manner, or form legal. So what test we do is truncated by the local area and trying to avoid any problems because we are exposing ourselves to both legal and liability problems of which I do not want to think about. So yea, verily, it would be nice to get a bike running and then take it out on local rural roads and run it up and down the roads for a few miles, put 100 miles on the engine. That's a wonderful thing. I can't do it. Logistically, I can't do it. So I get the bikes running, I take them on a local area ride, check out all the gears, all the brakes, make sure that they are safe, and give them to the client who then puts the miles on them. So now with this green goddess, what I'm doing now by starting it and letting it idle is I'm looking for oil drips, little bitty ones that are bothering me. And I keep a fan on it and it's idling just fine. And I'll rev it up every now and then. You've seen me do it. So sorry guys, I would love to take these bikes out for a 100-mile ride after rebuilding an engine, but it is logistically and legally impossible. Okay, now I'm going to go over and start the bike. Okay, I'm going to let that uh, sit up in the air and check for leaks. I'll check it again tomorrow, 24 hours. And I'm ready to declare the bike complete. The client's still out of town, won't be back till September, so I'm going to put it off to the side. I'll put it on the side stand, see if that helps make it leak. But basically, I'm going to declare it done and not spend any more time on it unless it says to me something needs to be done. So I've got the blue Triumph here. I'm declaring it done. I've got the yellow Norton here. Its owner is tied up, so it's going to be here till September. And other than that, I have an empty shop, so I'm out working on the RV. And so, anyway, that's it as far as test rides go. We do what we can do, and there's not a lot we can do. Remember, I'm working in a neighborhood in my garage. It's a nice middle-class neighborhood at the base of a mountain. Good people, but if anyone were to move into the neighborhood who was a real bother, even though I have a business license and I pay my taxes and I pay sales taxes and I do everything legally, even though I do everything properly, if one fool moves into this neighborhood and decides he doesn't want a motorcycle repair shop in his neighborhood, he could practically shut me down at a moment's notice. So yeah, we do limit test rides to the extent that we can declare the motorcycle safe to ride, as safe as possible, considering that they're 50-year-old motorcycles, and as reliable as possible, once again, considering that they are 50-year-old motorcycles. Our objective is to make them as safe as possible within the constraints of the design of the bike, and as dependable as possible within the constraints of the design of the bikes. So that's our objective. Do as good work as possible, make them safe and reliable as possible with the test ride. All right, that's it. I've moaned enough. Oh yeah, postscript. Did you see the smoke coming out of the right exhaust? It smoked like a so-and-so when it first started. Yesterday it came up clean, didn't smoke at all. Today it smoked when it started and then cleared up. That sort of says to me that it might be a little bit of oil draining down a valve guide, intake valve guide. Don't know. Not going to tear the engine down for that smoke. Once the client gets 100 miles or so on the bike, we'll see what happens. Then we'll make a decision as to what to do if the smoking continues. But not now. Let's let the client get a couple 100 miles on the bike, and then we'll talk again.